Welcome to the Carbondale Mayoral Candidate Forum, sponsored by the League of Women Voters of Jackson County. I am Mary Pullman, and I will be your moderator tonight. Our thanks to Jennifer Robertson of the Carbondale Public Library. Her efforts have provided a platform to make this forum and a number of other civic events possible. In the April 4th consolidated election, Carbondale voters will have the opportunity to elect our next mayor and 3 city council members. There are 2 candidates running for mayor of Carbondale, and both are with us tonight. There are 7 candidates running for the 3 city council positions. We will have a candidate forum for them on March 7th. The League of Women Voters appreciate the candidates' willingness to speak tonight and their desire to serve the city of Carbondale as mayor. I will introduce the Carbondale mayoral candidates in the order they are listed on the ballot. First, Mr. Harold Visser, please say hello.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Now, Carolyn Harvey, please say hello.
Hello.
This is how tonight's event will proceed. The candidates will each have 2 minutes for an opening statement, during which they may introduce themselves, explain why they decided to run for the office of mayor, and describe what kinds of knowledge and experience they feel are needed to be an effective mayor in the city manager form of government that we have. Then we will have 6 questions to be answered by each candidate. 1.5 minutes is allowed for each question. All questions you hear tonight were provided in advance to the candidates. Finally, we will have closing statements from each candidate with a time limit of 2 minutes each. Candidates, please watch for the countdown timer. If you see that time is expired, go ahead and finish your sentence, but please conclude your remarks promptly at the end of your time. We will alternate who answers a question first, but that means that each candidate will answer 2 questions in a row. Candidates, do you have any questions before we start? If not, we will start with Mr. Harold Visser's opening statement. These statements have a 2-minute time limit. Mr. Visser, you may begin.
Yeah, I want to thank you again for having me and appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to y'all. Of the many attributes I think that a good mayor needs, I think the most important is being personable. I think you need to have an ability to listen and to think, and then you need to have the ability to look for multiple solutions to problems. I've gained these experiences in my life through being a husband and father. I got 6 kids, so there's a lot of choices you got to make every day, and there's repercussions and good things that happen from those choices. But also, I've been a deacon at my church for about 10 years, so there's been a lot of very difficult situations we've had to work through and struggle through, and help people on a very personal level. And also, as a property manager, I take that very seriously. Anyone, if you want to look at Breckenridge Apartments in Carbondale, our Google reviews, they're 5 stars. And a lot of that's just being available to answer phone calls. And, when a problem comes up, you talk to people and you find a solution and you get it taken care of. And, it's not always just water heaters. Sometimes it's, your dog bit my dog. And that's, it's hard to answer those questions sometimes. And you just got to get people to talk to each other. And sometimes you got to make a hard decision, like maybe this dog can't be here anymore, or something like that. And I think I can take those skills and those abilities and bring them up to the mayor level and be a great service to the people of the city of Carbondale. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. Now, Ms. Carolyn Harvey, you may begin with your opening statement.
Thank you. I think Carbondale is a great place to live. I've lived here since 1971. I've met my husband here, bought a home here, and raised my children here. I retired from SIU, and I have no plans of leaving Carbondale. I've been involved in many school, church, social, and civic organizations, often in a leadership role. As a result of my opportunity to serve the community as a volunteer, I have gained experience working with and on a team. I understand the budget process and the importance of responsibly managing and maintaining a balanced budget and the fiscal solvency of our city. We have many issues facing us as a community: gun violence, homelessness, loss of businesses, affordable housing for low and middle income families are just a few. I know that I don't have the answer to every problem, but I believe together we can find solutions to all of them. I've served you for 10 years as a city council member. I'm currently serving as your mayor pro tem, and if elected as mayor, I will continue to voice your concerns and serve you by doing what's best for you, the citizens of Carbondale. Knowledge and experience are great qualities for a mayor to have. However, I realize that as a mayor, I must first have integrity and realize that as a public servant elected to do what's best for you, to listen to you, and to be accountable to you for the impact policies and regulations will have on our lives as citizens of Carbondale. My name is Carolyn Harvey, and I ask for your support. I ask for you to vote for me and elect me as your next mayor of Carbondale. I'm number 2 on the ballot, but I will always put you as number 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now we will proceed with the first question, starting with Harold Visser. There is a 90-second time limit to answer each of the questions. Question number 1. Carbondale's main water supply is Cedar Lake. In view of the current discussions to increase recreational opportunities around the lake, please explain how you would guarantee that water quality and quantity is protected. Mr. Visser, you may begin.
Thank you. I actually lived on Cedar Creek Road for a couple years and enjoyed Cedar Lake, going out in a canoe and just going and watching sunsets, and of course drinking the wonderful water there. One of the first things I would do is to facilitate a meeting with the Carbondale Police Department and Illinois Conservation Police to discuss strategies to policing the lake to ensure that people are not polluting it with trash or leaking petroleum products into our drinking water. I would also seek help from the Conservation Police to inspect watercraft to ensure that people are operating safe equipment. We can provide more recreation opportunities for our residents while also ensuring the safety of our water supply. We just have to be proactive and intentional on the actions that we take. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. And now, Ms. Harvey, you may answer the same question.
Thank you. At this point, we are only in the discussion phase of creating or increasing the recreational opportunities around the lake. The suggested changes are all contingent upon the city securing funding for the project. So at this point, I would say that I would not support anything that would jeopardize the water quality or quantity at Cedar Lake.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Question number 2, starting with Ms. Harvey. The city budget reveals sources of city revenue and city expenses, including sales tax revenue and gasoline taxes. Are there other sources of revenue you would explore, and what would you recommend for changes in allocation of funds, particularly as these sources of income may be declining with retail store closings?
There are other sources that I would explore, such as grants. And at this time, I have no immediate suggestions for changes in our budget allocation. I do say that we have an excellent financial team that's employed by the city, and I look to them as the employees of the city for guidance as far as reallocations and recommendations for changes within the budget.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now, Mr. Visser, you may answer the same question.
Yeah, one of the things that I've been doing in my campaign is reaching out to business owners to hear from them what they like about operating business in Carbondale and what challenges that they have from operating businesses in Carbondale. Actually, today I talked to the owner of Holt's Tire because I was getting a tire fixed. You know, it's great having something downtown close, and you know, it's like drop it off and you have it an hour later, and it's great. But he said he was a little frustrated with zoning, that he can't make any increases to the size of his building without tearing the whole building down and moving it. And I think long-time businesses like Holt's Tire should be able to operate in a way that they see fit while also being aesthetically pleasing in the downtown area. I think the only thing we're going to do if we find more revenue by increasing taxes is we're going to run more businesses out. So what I think we need to do is create a business-friendly environment and actually lower taxes so more people will want to shop in Carbondale, because we do have a reputation for being high tax. And I've talked to people outside the city who, for instance, don't want to come eat here anymore. And I think that that's something that we need to explore and look at. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. Now, question 3, starting with Mr. Visser. There are a large number of vacant single and multifamily rental properties in Carbondale, and some of these have become dilapidated. How would you address this issue of vacant properties?
Yeah, my first inclination, and this is being a property owner who really does try to maintain good quality properties for my tenants, is to work with these homeowners, get them up to code, or at least clean them up enough so they can get them sold to somebody who could make good use out of them. And especially so they don't have to pay any fines on top of something like that. If there's glaring safety concerns, they refuse to address those concerns. That may be something the city would have to work and condemn them. So again, we can get the property turned over to somebody who might be able to manage and take care of it a little bit better. I really do think it's the responsibility of the property owners to take care of that. Long term, I think what our city needs is to really grow our economy by maybe attracting some mid-sized manufacturing. For instance, they're shutting down chip manufacturing in China. It'd be great to attract some of those companies to Carbondale because we have railroad, we have cheap energy, we have cheap prices for people to live. And we also have cheap land to build factories. So really making an environment where they can come and also both to provide jobs for people we have and to bring in other people to our town and help the population grow, I think is really the long-term solution to those vacant houses. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. Now, Ms. Harvey, you may answer this same question.
Thank you. There are vacant and boarded up and blighted properties throughout the city of Carbondale. We must focus on a citywide effort to address this problem. In an ideal world, these properties would be made available for low and medium income families as homes, or these properties could be used as transitional housing for our homeless population.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now, question 4, starting with Ms. Harvey. What measures would you suggest to build trust between the police and community residents and also decrease gun violence in Carbondale? You may begin.
Okay, there must be a desire for a relationship on both sides to build trust between the police and community residents. Public safety should be a concern for all of us. Key components to both sides of that would be compassion, empathy, trust, and respect. I suggest doing a ride along with police, participating in our 5-on-5 conversations or our Citizens Police Academy as ways to start building those relationships. Our officers should not hesitate to interact with our citizens, whether on duty or off duty. On the decreasing gun violence, I say we live in a country that glorifies guns on one hand and then vilifies them on the other. Decreasing gun violence is not just a Carbondale problem. There are several steps that we could take as a country to help alleviate the problem. including background checks, raising the minimum age to purchase guns, and banning assault weapons. Locally, we need community-based violence intervention programs and mentors for juvenile youth offenders. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now, Mr. Visser, you may answer the same question.
Yeah, I would suggest, there's an LRU program, the Illinois Fraternal Order of Police offers, that puts community leaders in a room with themselves with makeshift firearms. And through an interactive video screen, they're subjected to different scenarios that police officers encounter. And after going through these different policing situations, they talk through their experiences and how they reacted. It's a way of showing people how difficult the job of policing is, and it helps community leaders to see things from a different perspective. I'd like the Fraternal Order of Police to bring that program to Carbondale. I'd like leaders in our community to participate, and from that, build a better relationship with the police. It's not just the job of police officers to keep our community safe. We all have a stake in the safety of our community. We need to be working with the police department and not against them. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. Question 5, starting with Mr. Visser. We have several agencies that provide services to the homeless in Carbondale. For example, Good Samaritan Center and the Warming Center. In what ways can the city and community partner to address homelessness? You may begin, Mr. Visser.
Yeah, I think it's looking at homelessness. There's many different reasons for homelessness. They can range from mental illness and drug addiction. It could just be somebody chooses that lifestyle. They just want to be transient and they kind of move from town to town. And other people, they're able to work and they just they may have difficulty keeping jobs for long times for whatever reason. I think if it's someone with mental illness or drug addiction, we need to work with these people, not just arrest them and put them in jail, but we need to help them to get treatment they might need and job training they might need so they could move past that and be able to become more productive members of society. If it's somebody who's choosing to be homeless, for instance, someone just wants to live in a tent, this has happened before over by Walmart, for instance. Those people just have to encourage that you can't trespass. Maybe they should go find more permanent housing, or they should find another place where they want to be. I do plan on, when I become mayor, doing volunteering at Good Samaritan Center, the Warming Center, and as well as Feed My Sheep, so I can better understand the homeless problem in Carbondale. Because really, as a deacon, we've had to deal with it a little bit. We meet people. Usually those are not long-term relationships because they might move on. We might not be able to help them. But those are ways I think I can help. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. Now, Ms. Harvey, you may answer this same question.
Thank you. Having served on the board of the Women's Center, which is now called the Survivor Empowerment Center, and on the board of the Carbondale Warming Center, this is a concern that I have that I take to heart. The city, however, has been very supportive of the Good Samaritan House and the Carbondale Warming Center. The city provides the building that now houses or currently houses the Warming Center. The community can address homelessness by donating financially or by contacting each organization to see what their immediate needs are. The Warming Center is sponsoring a fundraiser this coming weekend called the Coldest Night of the Year. This is an opportunity for citizens, you and me, to experience what it's like to be homeless on the coldest night of the year. This is a 5K walk sponsored by the Carbondale Warming Center. You can go to the cnoy.com website if you want additional information, or contact the Carbondale Warming Center.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now, question 6, our final question, starting with Ms. Harvey. Are there other issues in the city that, as mayor, you would like to address? Ms. Harvey, you may begin.
Okay, I guess, should I say, where should I start? But there are lots of issues that, as a city, we would like to address. Immediately, we know that with the weather we've had this year, that our roads need repair. So that's one that would be an immediate concern, and the city is working towards addressing that issue. But long range jobs are concerning. Increasing our retail tax base, having a summer program for our youth for jobs or for job shadowing, increasing our city staff so that it closer reflects the makeup of our city, and of course, providing more leisure activities for our citizens and tourism to Carbondale.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now, Mr. Visser, you may answer the same question.
Yeah, there are a few other issues. Probably the one I hear about the most when I say I'm running for mayor is people want the potholes fixed. And I know that it seems like a seasonal thing, but I feel like maybe that's more maintenance of the roads in general. Roads in good repair usually don't have as large of potholes. I know snow and ice causes that. I think I've heard also that people don't like some of the conduct from the members of the city council being called out by name or berated. I think it's important as mayor and running the city councils to quiet that and make sure that everything's respectful and civil. I think a lot of people don't know what's going on in the town. Trying to have town hall meetings so people can voice what they think budget priorities should be. Listening to our citizens, what they want to do, what they would like to accomplish, and where they would like to see Carbondale. Another thing I think is, I think Carbondale does have a bit of a tarnished reputation. Some part of the gun violence, some part of difficulty to do business in because of some of the building codes and such. And I think it's working on changing those and going out and broadcasting and saying what a beautiful town we have and how good it is to come live here and get more people to move here and make the town even better than it already is. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. To conclude the forum, each candidate has 2 minutes for concluding remarks, starting with Ms. Harvey.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the League of Women Voters and the citizens of Carbondale for giving me this opportunity to share. I've been with many of you providing community service for many years. I've listened to your concerns and issues and tried to help resolve them. I have served as a city council member for 10 years, and for the past 7 months, I've served as your mayor. I'm asking for your continued support. Please vote early or on April 4th, vote and elect me, Carolyn Harvey, as your next mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. Now, Mr. Visser, you may begin your concluding remarks.
I also want to thank the League of Women Voters for giving this opportunity. It is sure appreciated that you'd have me here. I really would like to help and serve the people of Carbondale as mayor, to work with the city council and work with the city officials so we can have a very safe town, so we can build a really strong community, and then our economic growth can take off. And I think I'm very optimistic about what Carbondale can be, and I would like to be the man who'd be in a position to help that come about. And I would appreciate if you would vote for Harold J. Visser early or on April 4th. And I thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Visser. Our thanks to both candidates for appearing here this evening. And if we were in person, this would be time for applause. Please accept this virtual applause and our appreciation. On behalf of the League of Women Voters, I encourage you to continue being an informed voter. The League is sponsoring a candidate forum Tuesday, March 7th, for the Carbondale City Council candidates. Please be sure to tune in at 6:30 p.m. You can watch online by registering at the CarbondalePublicLibrary.org website. Be sure to vote on April 4th at your polling place. Polls will be open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. or you can vote early, starting February 23rd at the county clerk's office, and on certain dates later in March at the Carbondale Civic Center. You can also vote by mail. Again, on behalf of the League of Women Voters, thank you, candidates, thank you, audience, and thank you to the Carbondale Public Library. Good night.
Good night, everyone.